Hello, everybody. I'm Anita Lawrence of Exceed Excellence. I'm really glad to be with all of you today, whether you're watching this live or watching it on replay. Thanks, Andrea, for the opportunity for me to take on a short mini workshop. And I must say that it's really mini with, with it being 50 minutes. I'm so used to doing hours long. And, it's more challenging to do shorter sessions, right? So I'm really excited to be able to share a little bit. And the topic that I'm talking about is leading with influence. Well, I'm born and bred in Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur, the capital. I'm the leadership consultant and founder of Exceed Excellence. Of course, why Exceed Excellence is because I don't like mediocrity, because I think we all can live an above average life. So my heart is always learning to be better, growing to be a better person, and helping others do the same. So I help leaders increase their influence. I help them, whether it's in the community, in their organizations, I help them become the voice of change, right? In order to make a difference where they are. So my heart is very much towards leadership, because if leaders can get better, if leaders can be the role model, I think we can impact so many more people, not just in our organizations, but in our families and communities as well. So that's where my heart is. I don't want to spend too much time on my self-introduction. Later, I'll give you some info. You can connect with me directly and we can get to know each other later, right? I want more time to be able to give you some value today. And I want you to be able to take back something that you can use, not just in your families, not just in your organizations, but in the community. When you look at yourself, you can ask yourself, do I want to lead with influence? Can I lead with influence? What does it take for me to lead with influence? And some of you watching this may be very young. And guess what? The best part about this session is everything I'm going to talk about today. If you're young, you can apply it, you can internalize it, you can change the way you're operating. If you're wiser, you don't want to use the word old, but if you're wiser and more mature, you're going to be able to use it as well. Because what I'm talking about is leading with influence, leading without a title, and leading from your life, right? So I hope you're ready as we go on in this session. So let me just go through certain key points. And I have about 40 to 50 minutes. So if you have any questions, you can always put it into the chat. And if it's being live streamed, you can put it in YouTube. Maybe later I'll go and answer it if I see your questions there. All right, so let's talk a little bit about leading with influence. I want to show you two powerful quotes, right? Two very powerful quotes. The first is by John Quincy Adams, and he said this: if your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, you are a leader. Let me say that again. If your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, you are a leader. It didn't say you need to be a manager, a vice president, a director. You need to be a senior manager who have worked with a lot of years of experience. You need to be highly qualified. The one reason I love this quote is because it applies to anyone and everyone, as long as you have the desire to make the world a better place. If you want to make your family a better place, lead with influence. Remember, don't use your authority as a father or mother only. Be someone that inspires your children to what? Dream more, learn more, do more, and become more. You could be a director or a big shot in an organization. That's great because you earned that title, right? You worked really hard and you earned that title. Good on you. But don't stop there. Don't just use your title to lead, because it's not going to last and it's not going to do the magic you want it to do. So I just want you to remember this. If your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, you are a leader. So are you ready to lead with influence? And what is leadership? It's interesting that the two quotes I chose, both of these people's first names are John, right? And the next quote I'm going to share with you is my very own mentor, John Maxwell. right? I'm part of the John Maxwell team since 2017, and we are a global community of about 41,000 of us, certified speakers, trainers, and coaches. And I've been in the people development for 20 years, but in the John Maxwell team for about 4 years. And I must tell you, the experience I have received being part of the team is amazing. When you connect with people who have got heart to make a difference in the world, you operate differently and you grow differently. So what does John say? Leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less. Leadership is not just a title. It is what you do with the title. How do you influence people, right? How do you influence people? Going back to the first quote, if your actions inspire others to learn more, dream more, do more, become more, you are a leader. So I just want to marry both these quotes, and I think it's so powerful. Yeah, so what is the importance of influence in today's leadership? What is the importance of influence? Because we know that when you're part of an organization, the person right at the top, right? The person right at the top has got a right over you to tell you what to do. And depending on which culture you're from, right? If you're from the Asian culture, you respect the authority. So if someone is higher authority than you and they tell you to do something, you do it. Whether you like it or not, you just do it because he's your boss. He's my boss. How can I disagree with my boss and go against him, right? I want to be able to support my boss. So even if he's wrong, I'll just support him. And some people get stuck in this. And sometimes the person leading you is not really leading you. They're just directing you. They're directing you and telling you what to do. So what is the importance of influence in today's leadership? So I want to share with you the 5 levels of leadership. I learned this from John Maxwell, and it changed the way I look at leadership. And I hope any one of you listening to this, you would ask yourself, what level am I currently in? Right? What level am I currently in? Because if you are at a certain level and you feel this is not what I want to be, this is not what I thought leadership was, and I'm stuck. I thought it would be so much easier, but it's not. How come, right? I worked hard, I got promoted, and next thing I know, it's so hard to move people to do certain things, and it's so hard to inspire people. You tell them to do something, they do it, but there's a big difference. If you compare someone who gives his best, his 100%, or someone who gives their 60%. You can see it in the quality of the work that they produce. So I want to share with you the 5 levels of leadership. Of course, because of the short time we have, I can't go in depth, but you can contact me if you want to know more, right? But I'm going to share with you at least an overview so that number 1, you know where you are. And number 2, you can decide, is this good enough for me? Is this how I want to lead? Am I comfortable? Am I satisfied with this? So what kind of a leader do you want to be, right? So let's look at the 5 levels of leadership. The first level, level 1, is called position. Position is you lead using your position. And of course, you have certain rights that were granted to you because of the position, right? If you're a manager, you've got a team of 5, 10, 20, 30 people who report to you. So of course, according to the organization chart, they report to you, which means they got to listen to you. And you get to direct them and tell them what to do. Now, the only reason they listen to you is because they have to. If you are stuck at level 1, and that's the only level that you're using, right, to lead, in your mind, you think you're a leader, but actually you're just a manager. You're just someone with a title because that's all you have, and that's all you're using to move people to do things that you want them to do. You have a right to tell them what to do because of your position. But isn't it quite sad that that's only level 1? In fact, it's the lowest level of leadership. And how many people, right, listening to this now, watching this now, how many of you feel that you may be stuck there, right? The only thing you got is your position, and that's the only thing you're using to move people to do what you want them to do. And some of you listening, you could be reporting to a manager who is at level 1. Which means the only reason you follow what he says is because you have to. You don't have a better choice. If you don't listen to him, he's probably going to rate you badly for your appraisal, and he's not going to treat you well if he's the kind of manager that is only using level 1. And trust me, there are people like that. How do I know? Because I've heard from their team. I've heard from their employees that they report to such a manager, and that's really sad. So you want to ask yourself, am I a level 1 leader? Am I reporting to a level 1 leader? Am I only stuck at level 1 and I'm not growing anywhere? And all I'm using is my title, my right over someone to move them. That's level 1. So let's move on to level 2. Level 2 is permission. Now, what is permission? Permission is you are leading using the relationship aspect, which means people follow you because they want to. They follow you because they want to, right? Because why? Because you've shown them that you care for them, that you actually value them, and that you're concerned about their life, about their progress, about their challenges, and you lend a helping hand when you can. You're kind to them, you appreciate them. So what do? They stay back. They spend an extra hour trying to help you. They offer certain help that you may need when they see that you're stuck, right? So level 2 is people give you the permission to lead them. They don't do it because they have to. They do it because they want to. They follow you because they want to. Now, how beautiful is that, right? Of course, having a title is a plus point, because it gets you at that level where people need to listen to you. But you can't remain there, isn't it? You can move to level 2 by caring more for the people, by being more concerned for the people. And then from level 1, you've moved to level 2. So when it's about the relationships, you connect better with them. They see you helping them, right? So they begin to feel a sense of connection, a sense of loyalty, because they like you. They like you. And of course, you don't do things just to be liked, right? It's not enough just to be liked. That's why this is only level 2, right? But you got to get to level 2 at some point. If you're stuck at level 1, your influence is going to be stuck. You're going to cap your influence at a very low level. But if you move to understand people, to care for them, to show them that you're there for them, right? As a manager, whatever your title is. But if you show that you care about your people, they will follow you very differently. And they will produce results that are very different. Their commitment is very different. So wouldn't that be great if we had more leaders moving on to level 2? Okay, so let's go to level 3. Production. People follow you because of what you've done for the organization, because of the results. They follow you because they see you producing great results. And they're like, oh my goodness, if I had this as my leader, I really want to transfer to that guy's department. So you see some people requesting to move into your department. How cool is that? Because they know that if they follow you, they know they will learn how to produce results as well. So you are very credible, right? You're very credible. They trust you because you produce results. So that is production level. You're not just nice to people. You're not just, you're not just caring for them and being concerned about them and making them feel valued, making them feel special and cared for, but you also produce results. That's what makes you a level 3 leader. So think about it. Currently in your organization, in your community, do you see leaders that are at level 3? Are you a leader that's at level 3? Where you produce results and people begin to feel that, hey, I'd like to work with this leader. I'm happy to follow this leader. I want to follow this leader very closely because this leader produces results. And if I'm close enough to this leader, I will be able to produce results as well. So what happens? Performance increases, isn't it? So when performance increases, team morale increases. Why? Because not only they like you, you like them, you get along well, you're helping to inspire, encourage, appreciate each other, right? But at the same time, you're producing results. So what does that do? Performance increases, profits go up, team dynamics gets better, morale goes up, and turnover goes down, right? I've met so many leaders, and some of them have told me that, many people are leaving the organization. Many people are leaving their departments. Now, why? Why do people leave? That we can go into another whole session about that. But think about it. Yeah, a leader has got a very important role in maintaining the morale of your team. So if you are producing results, if you are caring for your people, if you are using your position in the best ways to get people, to rally people, to join forces with you and make something great out of your team, right? From position to relationships to production, you will see results growing in the organization, in your department. So that's level 3. Okay, let's go to level 4. Level 4 is people development. People development. So this is reproduction. Reproduction. What happens here? People follow you because of what you do for them. You help them grow. So if there's one of you who does really well, when you care about people, you end up growing people to do things the way you do it, to produce results like you. Of course, not identical, but they bring in something special and you help them grow. You coach them, right? You point them in the right direction. You help them see who they are and what they can become. You handle people very differently. You reproduce yourself. You reproduce yourself. So imagine there's one of you doing a great job. Imagine if there are 4 people just like you in terms of performance, right? In terms of performance, because we don't want people to be exactly like us, right? We want people to be who they are, but a better version of themselves. So people development, they follow you because they know if they follow you, they're going to get better. How beautiful is that, right? They're going to get better because they are following you and they know that you invest in them. When you invest in your people, you spend time, right? We don't really call it spending time, you call it investing time. Is that a priority for you? If it's your priority to invest time in people, then what happens? They grow. They grow because you invest your time in helping them grow. So that is reproduction, right? That is reproduction, helping each other, helping each other, and the leader helping the other person grow from where they were to a different level of performance, different level of contribution. And that is level 4, people development. So imagine when they develop other people, they help the other person to develop more people. So they create a lot of level 3 and level 4 leaders, right? So that is level 4, reproduction. So is that just one of you, or do you have your successor, right? Do you have your successor? Have you grown someone to do the work, to help another person, to care for another person? Are you helping others grow from level 1 to level 2 to level 3 and to level 4? So that is people development. Now let's go to level 5. Level 5 is Pinnacle. Right at the top, that's level 5. People follow you because of who you are and what you represent. They do it out of respect for you. You could have worked for 15 years in an organization, given your best, and finally when you've resigned, maybe 20 years, 25 years, you've resigned, you're no longer in that organization, you're no longer in the industry, but people remember your name, they know who you are, and they remember you for a very long time. Why? Because it's because of who you are and what you represent. The respect they have for you goes beyond the organization, goes beyond the industry. Now that one, who are people like that? John Maxwell. He's an example of that, right? A level 5 leader. And we've seen level 5 leaders in the world before. Mother Teresa, Mahatma Gandhi. Name it, people who have led with not really titles given to them. They were nobodies, but they took a stand and they influenced people, right? To make the world a better place. So do we want to empower people? No matter how young you are, you can empower people, you can grow, you can lead with influence. Don't wait until you get a job. And I'm talking to the young ones here, if you're listening, you don't have to wait till you get a job. You can start where you are right now. And for all the wise people, don't be limited by your title. Don't be limited by your title. And don't wait for further promotions. Do what you can do now, because you can grow through the levels of leadership. You can, right? It is not limited by your title. So I just want to encourage all of you, when you think about leading with influence, just ask yourself, do I want to grow from level 1 to level 2 and then level 3 and level 4? It's intentional. Trust me, nobody is going to monitor you and tell you, okay, on a Monday morning, tell me what level are you at. Nobody's going to ask you that. It's a personal decision. When you wake up every morning, why don't you ask yourself, do I want to lead with influence? Because leadership is a choice. Title, positions are given to you because you earn it. You are hardworking and you were promoted. It was given to you. But being a leader is not given to any of us. We wake up in the morning and we decide, do I want to lead? That's it. You make up your mind every morning and you lead by who you are, by the actions that you do, right? And then people will follow you. You don't have to go around, with a loudspeaker saying, I'm a leader today, everybody follow me. No. And some people say leadership is very lonely at the top, right? They say leadership is very lonely at the top. I've got news for you. You know what I learned from John Maxwell? I learned this from him and it changed the way I look at leadership. It shouldn't be lonely at the top. Leadership is only lonely at the top if you were hiking up all alone. That doesn't make you a leader, it makes you a hiker. Isn't that great? I mean, come on, if you're hiking all by yourself, yes, it's lonely at the top. But if you're really leading, you never go up alone. You never go up alone. You take as many people as you can. People who want to go on that journey with you, you take them, hold their hand, and you say, come, let's go together. Now that's leadership. Right? So the 5 levels of leadership. Sinfong, I'm just a tractor. Oh, I'm just a tracker. I thought you said tractor. Okay. All right. Let's move on. So think about it. What truly drives performance? What truly drives performance? If you're looking at leading people, why do we want to lead people? Because we want to make a difference, right? We want to make our community better. We want to make our world better. We want to make our organizations better. So what truly drives performance? Very powerful question. What truly drives performance? People. People drive performance. Even if there's machines, who was the one who programmed the machines and created the machines? People. People create machines, people create systems, people create the AI, right? Intelligence, they are the one working behind it and creating all of it. So people drive performance. So the element of people in leadership is number 1. People come first. So what drives people then? If people drive performance, what drives people? Emotions. Emotions drive people. I'm not saying you're going to be emotional. Yeah, don't get me wrong. You don't need to be emotional, but you need to know the power of emotions because emotions drive people. Someone recently asked me, how so? And I had very little time to explain it to this person. So I just asked a very quick question. When you were 7 and when you had to sit for your exams as a 7-year-old, right, in primary 1, what moved you to study hard? What moved you to complete your homework? And the person said, my parents. I said, what did they do? If I didn't do it, they would scold me. So you were moved by fear. So emotions drove you to study hard and complete your homework and at least get a B or a C or an A. Otherwise, your parents will say, what were you doing? You weren't studying. You didn't put in your best. And you were scared to be scolded by them and you studied. So fear back then, that moved you to perform. In the work environment, some people are moved by fear. They don't want to get fired. So they do the bare minimum to keep their jobs. Some people are moved because they report to leaders who care for them. So they have a sense of worth. They have a sense of value to say that, hey, you know what? This leader really inspires me. I want to grow. I want to do well. And I would love to see him rate me really well. And that satisfaction that I get from it will keep me going another 6 months, even though it's been challenging. The whole work, the way we work has changed so much. Emotions drive people. So there is a space for emotions. We can't just push our emotions aside and say, be professional, be professional. No, you're a person and a person has emotions. So you need to understand the power of emotions and how you're going to identify what you're feeling, how you're going to navigate those emotions. Now, that's a whole different topic on emotional intelligence, which I'm also very passionate about. So you can connect with me on that. But as I said, due to time, I can't really go deep into that. So just remember, people drive performance and emotions drive people. Emotions drive people. So the element of people is very important. Two kinds of people. One is you. You are people too. Second is the other people in your life, in your organization, in your team, in your community. So what do? You need to focus on the being yourself before the doing. I've seen this happen time and time again. Many people, they learn something from a training session, they learn something from books, and they tell themselves, I need to do things differently, do things differently, do things differently. Don't do things differently unless you have changed your being. If you haven't internalized what you read, if you haven't internalized what you experience in the training, you have insights, and then you have key takeaways, right? And then you straight away translate it into action plan and you make it into something you do. Hold on. Wait a while longer. Think about who you want to become first. Who do you want to become? What kind of a person do you want to be? And then once you decide on that, you grow yourself first. Help yourself first. Then the doing becomes so much easier. I've seen many people experience a burnout. Why? Because they're doing, and then they run dry. They run dry because it was coming out of an empty vessel, because they didn't take care of themselves. So leaders, if you're listening to this, don't look at others and say, I'm going to help this guy, this woman, that woman. And then you've forgotten all about yourself. Focus on your being and then focus on the doing. The doing becomes less frustrating. And leaders cannot give what they do not have. Leaders cannot give what they do not have. In other words, you cannot pour out of an empty cup. You've heard that before. You cannot pour out of an empty cup. So fill your cup, leaders, if you're listening to this. Fill your cup. Take good care of yourself. Yeah, take good care of yourself. How? How do we focus on the being before the doing? I'm going to show you, all right? We're going to talk about what is it in the being that I got to change, and then what is it in the doing that I can change, right? So we go in that order. So I want to introduce to you these 3 words: learn, love, and then lead. Learn about yourself first, then learn about others. Love yourself first, then love others. Lead yourself first, and then lead others. If you do it the other way around, you're going to be burnt out. You're going to be so exhausted, because by the time you love others out of an empty cup, there's nothing much for you to love yourself. So always remember, leaders cannot give what they do not have. Take care of yourself. Understand more about who you are. Learn about how you're wired. Learn about your personality. Learn about your emotional needs. Learn about your own values, your emotions. What triggers you to do well? What discourages you? What frustrates you? What makes you feel so fulfilled? And what dries you up? Learn about yourself. Then learn about others. What fills them up? What energizes them? Or what frustrates them? What discourages them? Do it in that order. Because once you've experienced it for yourself, you'll be able to use it with other people successfully. But if you're just trying to do things with people, firstly, it doesn't come across as authentic because you didn't do the same process with yourself, right? You didn't care for yourself, but you're showing people you want to care for them. I think it needs to start with ourselves. So that's learn. Love yourself. Love yourself by giving yourself time to rest, by forgiving yourself when you've made a mistake. Get the lesson out of it. Make the best moving forward. Love yourself. Acknowledge your strengths. Give yourself a pat on the back, right? Give yourselves a pat on the back. Because if you don't love yourself, how are you going to love others? If you're a young person listening to this, if you don't love yourself, seriously, you think you can love your boyfriend or girlfriend? Seriously? Because you won't know what love is if you didn't even experience it from yourself, right? Love yourself, forgive yourself. And that's why we talk about self-care, self-compassion. And you know the situation of mental health these days. Everyone is running all over the place, trying to make a living. They're trying to sustain their family, the food on the table, their jobs. And sometimes they forget to even have 10 minutes alone time to recharge, to rejuvenate. If you don't love yourselves, how on earth are we going to love other people? And how do we even go to the third one, leading? If we don't know about people, we don't know about ourselves. We don't love ourselves enough. We don't love others. Then how do we even lead? We can't lead, right? So we need to lead ourselves first. Do we commit to certain things? And are we influencing ourselves? Are we accountable to ourselves, right? Are we accountable to ourselves? Are we accountable to others? There are 3 levels of accountability. One is personal, where what you say, you do it. Now, there are many times I haven't even done what I said I wanted to do, right? I missed the deadline and I was like, oh my goodness, what am I doing? Then I remind myself, Anita, if you don't lead yourself, get out of the training industry. Stop being a hypocrite, right? So lead yourself continuously, not just on a Monday or a Wednesday. Lead yourself continuously. Of course, there are days we fail ourselves, and that's when we go back to the second point, which is love yourself, forgive yourself, because we are not perfect. Okay, so don't get me wrong. I'm not saying you can't lead. If you don't love yourself and learn about yourself 100%. No, we are all work in progress, and we are all on this journey. So lead yourself, and then you know what it's like to be committed, to be accountable. Then you lead others, because then you're a very good role model to others as well. So self, then others. It doesn't mean you're selfish. Nope, it doesn't. It just means you know how to care for yourself so that you have more to give, right? If you don't care for yourself, you won't have much to give, and you'll run dry. And that's not good for your family, your partners, your marriages, and also your teams and your organization. We don't want people all dried up, right? We want people who are filled so that they can give more and they can make a difference in the community, in families, in organizations, and of course, in our nations. Yeah. So how do we do that? How do we learn, love, lead ourselves and others? We start with ourselves. So increase our self-awareness. Discover your blind spots. It's not so difficult. Really, it's not. Right? Who do you ask? Ask your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your husband, your wife. You would get it. Ask your children. Ask your children. They would tell you your blind spots. Right? So you don't have to say, oh my goodness, I don't know what my blind spots are. Trust me, there are people around you who will tell you for free. They will tell you what your blind spots are. And be teachable. Be teachable. Because sometimes our blind spots sabotage our success. Sometimes. So you want to be careful that you're not sabotaging your leadership or your success, or even sabotaging your relationships, because your blind spots are making people run away from you. So self-awareness, right? So as much as you want to maximize your strength and showcase your strength, which you should, pay a little attention to your weaknesses, because they may be sabotaging your success and your progress in life. So be more self-aware. So discover some of your blind spots, right? And then value people. Value people. The way we treat people depends on how much we value them. So remember, I said, focus on the being first before the doing. And sometimes we do it the other way around. We try to value people, but deep inside we stopped. We didn't stop to ask, do I really value them? Do I think they are valuable? And do you know, once during one of my leadership sessions, it was a 6-month program that I had. I run batches of 6 months with some of my clients. And I asked this question. It was a closed group. So I asked this question. I said, since we've known each other for 4 months now, it was after 4 months, I said, let's all be very honest and type into the chat. I asked this, do you really like people? Do you really love people? Excluding your family, excluding your family. Do you find opportunity to spend time with people, help them, be with them? Do you really like people? From 1 to 10, can you type in a number? Right? It was so funny because I saw numbers as low as 3 and 4, and they were all managers and above. So it was so funny because we established that authenticity and openness in our private group. So we could see, there are some people that don't really like people. Yeah, they like you either because they have to, because they work with you, but otherwise they don't want to just spend too much of time with other people. They just want to keep to their families and their close friends. Nothing wrong with that. But if you're someone who only wants to spend time with close friends and just your family, then you shouldn't be leading, isn't it? Except for the close friends and family. If you're in an organization, you have a team of 30 people, and then if you don't really like people, you got to rethink leadership, because you need to look at them and say, hey, if I don't like you and if I don't value you, if I don't think you're precious, if I don't think you're valuable, then I'm not going to do much for you. I'm not going to help you. I'm not going to go out of my way to make your life better, right? So the way we treat people depends on how much we value them. So this is something you need to ask yourself. Do I really value people in my life? Do I really value them? Right? So again, increase your self-awareness, value people, self-reflection again. Do you value people? Maybe we need to change the way we think about people and what does it mean to value them. Then connect with people. Connect with people. Now, connection goes beyond just communication. Connecting goes beyond just communication. Just because you speak well and you articulate your ideas well in the team meetings, in your staff meetings, it doesn't mean that you're connecting with people. Connecting with people means there is something at an emotional level that you're connecting with, not just intellectually. And many people, because I deal with many high-level leaders, right? They're very good in connecting with people intellectually. They come with their data, their logic, their rationale, their evidence, and with their years of experience, and they give their points, and they expect everybody to jump up and say, yes, we agree with you, we are jumping on the bandwagon, let's go. But unfortunately, they thought they did a fantastic presentation, and after everything, they look at everybody looks pretty much like a dead duck. I mean, they're like, whatever, the expression on their faces is like they didn't get it, or they're not excited enough. And then you wonder, what did I do wrong? I prepared for like 3 hours. I did beautiful slides, but why do they look like they're not interested? Because perhaps you connected intellectually with them, which is important. Don't get me wrong. It is important to connect intellectually with people. But connection with people has to go to another level, which is emotional connection. You got to appeal to people's values. You got to understand their struggles. And when you speak, you got to include how you're going to help them overcome their struggles, and that you understand what they're going through, that you empathize with the challenges they are going through. That is connecting with people emotionally. You got to look like you care. You got to look like you are excited about talking to them. And it goes by your facial expression, your voice, right? Because if you're really excited to be with them, you would sound excited to be with them. You wouldn't sound like this, and you wouldn't tell people, you got to connect emotionally with each other. Only then you can lead with influence. I mean, if you're going to speak like this, you might as well not talk to them at all. So the way you communicate, the way you connect with people must bring across your passion in how you want to help them, in how you care for them. So are your connecting signals strong? Are your connecting signals strong? What are connecting signals? Okay, very simple. I'll just share 3 connecting signals, right? One is people go the extra mile. If you're connecting well with them, they go the extra mile for you. They're very unguarded in their openness. They share with you openly their struggle, their challenges. Then you're really connecting well. And they communicate very well with you, right? They don't wait to say something to you. When you ask a question, they're very quick to respond. They're very quick to give you some ideas because they care about you as well. Why? Because you and them connect well. Okay, extra points on connecting signals. Positive energy. You can sense positive energy in your team if you connect well with them. So that's connecting signals. Again, I can't share that much. Okay, just a little bit more and we're going to end. Add value to people. That's the 4th one. Add value to people. Showing people we genuinely care for them. Arranging one-on-one coffee sessions, virtual coffee sessions. Adding value. Helping someone by sharing with them 3 options that they can do to solve their problem, lending a helping hand, referring them to someone who may have the answer to help them, giving them a gift. When they open the gift, they can see how that gift meant so much to them, but you found it and you gave them the gift. A book, right? You can add value to people in so many ways. So that's add value to people. So let me just wrap up by saying this. To lead with influence, any one of us can do it. But first, and this is my quote, so I'm going to end with my quote, right? You know how I came up with this quote? I can't remember if I shared it before, but never mind, I'll share it with you. Someone asked me, Anita, if you had to come up with a quote, this was like, I think about 4 or 5 years ago. Yeah. If you had to come up with a quote about what you stand for and why you're passionate about leadership, right? And what do you think about it? What would your quote be? My very first quote, my friends, this was my very first quote, right? And I thought about it and I didn't take that long, to come up with it because it was from my heart. And I said, you're going to lead with vision. If you don't know where you're going, don't lead because people will be like blind following the blind, right? And you don't want that to happen. So lead with vision. Inspire with heart. You can't inspire people if you don't believe in them, if you don't believe that they are capable of doing great things. If you're not connecting with people emotionally, how are you going to inspire them? So inspire with heart and live the example. Be the kind of person that people want to follow. Live the example. Don't expect people to follow what you say. You take the right actions and you do the right things. And then people looking at you, they will understand that's how I want to live. So live the example. Be a role model. So lead with vision, inspire with heart, and live the example. So that's my quote. And I want to close with this. And if you want to connect with me, pick up your handphones and just shoot at the QR code. All right. Just open your camera. Of course, don't just hold up your phone and point at it. Nothing's going to happen, right? Or would it? Okay. Turn on your camera and point at the QR code. You'd get my links to my LinkedIn, my private Facebook group, and also my Facebook page and Instagram. Right. So I want to thank all of you if you're listening or you're watching this on replay. And Andrea, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. And I'm very proud of myself because I kept to time, about 40 minutes and 10 minutes for questions. If anybody has any questions on Zoom, I would love to answer your questions. So back to you, Andrea. Thank you once again for this time.
Thank you very much. So thank you for everyone who is watching on YouTube or rewatching it. Don't forget to collect the points. And if you would like to connect with Anita, please then read the barcode here. And now I will just stop the live stream and